Welcome back. Have you ever noticed that the meanest voice in your life is sometimes your own? You can be doing fine, minding your own business, and suddenly your brain jumps in like, who do you think you are? You're going to mess this up. Everyone else has it figured out but you. And just like that, self doubt and anxiety take over. But what if I told you that that voice in your head doesn't actually have to be your enemy? Today, I'm going to show you how to turn that voice into something much more powerful, your inner ally. Hello, I am Noelle Rizzio, counselor and host of your Emotional Support Podcast, where we talk about building self worth, emotional strength, and a life that actually feels good to live. And today, we're talking about one of the biggest barriers to confidence and peace of mind, self doubt. Because the truth is, most people think confidence means never feeling doubt, but that's not the truth. Confidence actually comes from learning how to respond to the doubt when it shows up, because it's always going to be there. So, why does self doubt happen? First, let's normalize something. Your brain is literally wired to look for problems, it's just evolution. Thousands of years ago, that helped humans survive, right? There's a bobcat over there. Pay attention to it. Your brain's job was basically, is that a tiger? Is that food poisoning? Is that tribe going to steal my stuff? Fast forward to today, and your brain is still doing the same thing, except now the threats are a little different. The threats could look like sending an email, speaking up in a meeting, posting something online, trying something new. Your brain goes, danger, possible embarrassment, and it launches that inner critic. If you've listened to my podcast, if you've talked to me, you know that I am a big proponent of quieting that inner critic and naming it. So I might refer to my inner critic as Nicole, which, if that doesn't track with you, go look through some of my past stuff. But your inner critic launches not because you're weak, not because you're broken, but because your brain thinks that it's protecting you. The problem is the inner critic doesn't just warn you. Now, because of things that have contributed to your inner critic, your inner voice is very negative, and sometimes it sounds like it's bullying you. It says things like, you're not good enough. You always mess things up. Why even try? When you hear that voice enough times, you believe it. That's where anxiety and self doubt grow. But here's the good news, that voice is not the only voice available to you. You can build another one, your inner ally. So, what is an inner ally? Your inner ally is the voice that sounds like a supportive coach or a wise friend, or maybe the calmest version of yourself. Instead of saying you're going to fail, your inner ally says things like, you might struggle, but you can handle it. Instead of saying you're not ready, it says you'll figure it out as you go. Same situation, very different emotional outcome. So the first step is to notice the inner critic. Awareness, just being aware of your inner critic. And I do this with my clients all the time. So this is proven that it works. Most people don't realize how harsh their inner dialogue actually is. When you start paying attention to what you actually say to yourself, that in itself is powerful. So I want you to start paying attention to what you say to yourself when you make a mistake, when something feels uncomfortable, when you are going to try something new. And ask yourself, would I say this to someone I care about? If the answer is no, then that is your inner critic talking. The next step is to interrupt that thought. Once you start noticing the inner critic, the next step is interrupting the pattern. You don't need to argue with the thought, you just need to pause. And then you can literally say in your head, that's not helpful. We're not doing that today. Nice try, brain. It might feel silly or awkward at first, but this simple interruption creates space for a different response. The next step is to activate your inner ally. And this one is a little bit trickier because it doesn't feel natural. But the more that you do it, the more natural it becomes. Okay? So we're going to bring in that ally. Ask yourself, what would a supportive mentor say to me right now? Maybe it's, you don't have to be perfect. Everyone starts somewhere. You can handle uncomfortable things. Sometimes I tell my clients to think, what would Noelle say? What would my therapist say? Okay. Maybe, it's not fake positivity, because I'm not being fake when I'm talking to my clients and giving them positive encouragement. That's not fake. So you don't want this support to be fake. It's realistic encouragement. It's that voice that keeps you moving forward instead of shutting down. And the last step is just to practice daily. Here's the truth most people don't want to hear. Building an inner ally is not a one-time mindset shift. It's a practice, right? It took years and years and years for your inner critic to grow and become who she is. Now we need to reframe that and practice and practice and practice what your inner ally would say. Like I said, your brain has spent years strengthening that inner critic. She can be loud, but now you're strengthening a different neural pathway. And every time you choose the ally voice, you are literally rewiring your brain. And once those wires are connecting, then it doesn't feel so hard anymore. And that inner critic will quiet and the inner ally will be louder. So, simple daily exercise, something you can start today. At the end of the day, ask yourself 3 questions. Where did my inner critic show up today? What did it say? And what would my inner ally say instead? You can write these down, or you can just kind of mentally keep a note of it. This helps your brain start recognizing that you have options. If you struggle with self-doubt or anxiety, I want you to remember something. You don't need to eliminate the critic completely. Even the most confident people that have the strongest self-worth still hear that voice. The difference is that they have built a stronger ally to counteract that, and you can too. If this video helped you, make sure to like and subscribe, because I share tools every week to help you build confidence, emotional resilience, and stronger self-worth. If you're interested in going deeper, check out the resources that I've linked. Thanks for being here, and I will see you in the next video.